All right, the message today is about keeping your faith. I'm in my apartment today, so it's a little bit different setup. No beautiful blue sky behind me, but yeah, let's get into the message. Or let's get into it. So, keeping your faith, what does that mean? So this kind of faith, this could be non-religious or it could be religious, but generally speaking, this is a time where you are someone who's being tested. Your faith is being tested. You have already gone through all of these kind of struggle periods and cycles where things weren't going well, and now you're entering another one, and you're really confused because you're like, at some point, this whole thing is supposed to work out and get better, right? Like, isn't this all going to pay off? And maybe you feel kind of duped. You're like, this doesn't really make sense. I'm doing all the stuff I'm supposed to do. But really, it's sort of like you're being tested or initiated. And this is just going to further propel you. Like, think about these hard periods like a slingshot being pulled backward. If you were to look at how much closer the, say, pebble is getting to the end target, at the beginning when you're pulling the slingshot backward, it's actually going the other way, right? It's going the other way. It's not going towards its target. But all of that tension in the opposite direction, which is what you're experiencing now, is tension in the opposite direction. All of that tension is building up, building up, building up, so that you can propel forward. And so that you can reach destinations that you never even really thought possible or believed that you could get to. I like that slingshot analogy because sometimes you'll experience it, right? Sometimes I bet you are someone who's had an experience where after kind of doing this spirituality and whatever, you felt that it's like it was preparing you something and gearing you up to fully fling forward. And that's 222 when I said that. You're going to fully just propel forward very soon. But that doesn't make this time any easier, because this is a time where you are being initiated, being tested. Maybe it feels like a lot of things in your life are just being pulled apart. And I feel like you're someone that this has happened before, so you kind of know how it works. If it hasn't happened before, it can be really jarring. So hopefully this will make sense to you, or make you make sense of what's happening if it hasn't happened before. But sometimes when we enter onto the spiritual path, right, the whole point of spirituality is to dissolve the self and reveal the true self. And in order to do that, sometimes things that's sped up by having a bunch of bad stuff happen. And it can be really difficult and it can be really hard, but in the end, it's ultimately going to be worth it. And you have to know what part, like, it's almost like the seasons are changing. There's winter, there's spring, there's summer, there's fall, there's different seasons to this. And once you can see the cycle from a macro lens and kind of zoom out and look at it, you'll realize, oh, I'm just in another winter right now. And I think for some people, this is winter. Even though we're actually in summer, I think that for a good portion of people that there's like an initiation going on, and and it's like the contrast with the summer is what makes it so difficult, because it's like things are supposed to be going well. I'm supposed to be outside having fun, enjoying myself, whatever. But then all of this other stuff is kind of just being ripped apart in my life, and I don't really know how to handle that. So for the guidance of what to do, I think journaling, writing it down, talking to people that would understand what you're talking about, which I know can be hard because a lot of times people don't understand the spiritual process or anything like that. But having a place to put your words, like journaling, even making videos like this, it can be really helpful because, it's like you want to give a voice to that thing, to the things within you that don't usually get to be heard. And these can be like Carl Jung will call that like your shadow or whatever. You don't have to specifically make it a kind of work though. Like people would say shadow work. But just write about stuff that you wouldn't want to talk about with other people. Because there's like a sort of thought energy that can build up in the mind. And if it's not let out, it can lead to a disturbance in your kind of field. And then all this kind of weird bad stuff starts happening. And the point of it is so that you can let that out, right? You have this buildup of negative stuff. And so these bad things are happening in your life to allow you to feel the things that will get that energy out of your body. But you don't have to have that happen. You can just write about it or whatever and do things that help your nervous system relax. And then you will see that naturally your life becomes more chill, more relaxed. Things start to go better for you. That doesn't mean that you're immune from bad things happening. It's just to say that you can have an influence on it. It was kind of a short message today. I just want to listen for a second to see if there's anything else. Okay, so like be here and be ready. That's another thing. So even though you're in a winter or dark night cycle or whatever you want to call it, it's to be ready and be alert. But I think you're already someone who is kind of ready and alert and already knows what's going to happen. But just realize that this is going to deepen your spiritual connection. A lot of times we have to have really bad things happen for us to get closer to God. And it's unfortunate because, it doesn't have to be that way. But for human beings, we get so distracted by everything else going on that we sometimes need bad things to happen to get closer to God. And this is one of those times. And so try to get closer to whatever you deem to be God, whatever that is. Because that's the purpose of all of these kind of tests or whatever, is that it's like to help you get closer to God, and so that you can feel that there is this, like the beautiful thing about God is that there is this one thing that you can form a connection with, that no matter what's ripped out of your life, what's being ripped out of your life right now, whatever that is, that, the connection with the divine or whatever, that can't be damaged, right? It's only when you stop connecting with it does it kind of go away, but it'll always come back. It's always accessible. It's always available if you reach out to it. So this is a time to reach out to it, continue reaching out to it. You might be like, I already am reaching out to it. I don't know what to do. Like, what do you mean? But no, keep going. And on the other side of this, it will make sense why this has happened. And it's all going to be good. Thank you. You can like and subscribe and comment. I really appreciate it.